Nice cold steal.
Which shouldn't be the case. But if you're in the Fire Emblem universe, it absolutely is the case.
Sir, don't you literally do things with both the swords and fire? Don't you know that a sword would absolutely cut through a fireball?
No. If it's hot enough, see?
If it's hot enough, but I don't think Ryu's shooting those out of his hands. There's no way they're that hot.
That's the heat of his passion. He's not like Ken. Ken has the hotter fire between him and Ryu.
Exactly. That's why the sword works.
See, he's not going to rely on the sword. He's going to go straight, rely on the fireball trap. He's going to go straight hands in this matchup, I feel.
Yeah, you have to, right? Because unless the fireball is trapping the landing or controlling spacing or just up close point blank to call something out like that and get something started, it's more of a laning tool than anything else, because again, when you're in that distance neutral, Lucina can't swing through it unless you miss space the fastball a little too early, and Mr. E gonna eat a little extra damage. Even still, it's Gaius who's behind on the chip, stuck here in the corner, and has to be careful, but the down tilt Tatsu gonna rack up so much percent on Mr. E.
I thought that shield was going to break on that fall neutral beam, I'm not going to lie. One thing I am curious to note, does Heavy Fireball actually have priority here, or does Sword eat through that as well? Like, I'm not sure on that front.
I was going to say, I believe Sword does with the disjoint, but we will find out if it comes up in the match. The auto turnaround there means after the back air, you're still coming on back, but Gaius is not able to find the true Shoryu that he wanted, so instead it's going to be a reset. Once again, I like the idea to focus cancel, but Lucina only has that neutral air as the multi-hit to deal with that button.
Right.
So it's going to be one of the huge keys for this matchup, and one of the reasons you see Gaius and Mr. E both being very okay to start here on Battlefield.
There we
you
go.
find the up airs, but still not going to be enough. But again, that focus means that Lucina doesn't get to juggle. She has to rely entirely on the edge guarding. But the downside is, by trying to bait you into the corner, if she catches out one wrong down tilt, you can see it ends in the Tatsu, and that's death.
Jumping up air. Okay, focus attack to start on that. I mean, live for a little while, but not going to be enough to survive through that. It's reset. I knew this match was going to be close off the ripper, and it really has been. They're at each other's throat. They are giving each other no time to breathe. This is that quality Smash Bros. That I love to see.
Listen, Mr. E might need to get an EpiPen right now, because Gaius is coming at you like you got a nut allergy, the way you're throwing out the fireballs. Also, I know it's Shakuretsu, but it does sound like you're saying choke on nuts just a little bit. And listen, I just hope they're not peanuts, man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got Planners sponsorship coming in real hot out of left field. Hey, so bag of Planners, throw it at him.
That's what Gaius might need here, right? To prevent Mr. E from winning this tournament, because you know there's a man on a mission. But right now, he's starting off pretty hot. Got this swordswoman in the corner as Mr. E trying to utilize Lucina, trying to utilize his blade to find the stock. But again, no matter how fast it is, Dolphin Slash, still only one hit, can't get through the focus attack. That neutral air, though, entirely different story.
Nice bait.
Yeah, as you said, you just bait it out.
Gotta bait it out, wait it out. And plus, Lucina couldn't have a peanut allergy. She's from royal blood. You think their bloodline's weak enough to fall to some mere legumes? I don't think so.
You don't know. That's what genetic mutations are for. And Lord knows Ryu's got one. You see the size of those biceps? You see the way that neutral air combos into that true Shoryuken to find the stock, Crow?
Oh, man, it's punching through boulders for breakfast. Let's go. Rolls into the heavy fireball now. 1-1 here. This is so scary. It's scary territory. And Gaius wants to play this perfectly. We know him to play a little more calculated play style on this Ryu here. And it works very well until Mr. E starts setting up.
Listen, all it takes is one missed tech, and that's going to be all she wrote. Guys had the opportunity to find a way out, but when you drop the one defensive input, that one situation out of the scramble, I mean, it can be absolutely brutal. If we can get to that last stock before their next game starts, we'll have a chance to take a look at it, and I can break it down more there. But Crow, I mean, oof.
That was a snipe. That was literally a snipe.
Like, look at this. Ready? Back air, miss tech, and then you just get put in the corner, gets the jump called out. Not quite. Instead, you see holding it there, but immediately buffering the jump into the up special, and that's in a little bit extra upward momentum. Because of that, you don't snap the ledge.
Snap ledge, yep.
Because you only snap the ledge at the very end.
Ryu's Shoryuken's weird. It does and does not auto snap the ledge.
Well, it does at the very end there, but because he jumps beforehand, his momentum's carrying him upward already, so it carries the snap distance at the end upwards a little higher.
Yes, you're
correct. And so he goes past ledge, where if he had just buffered the up special, he would have actually just snapped the ledge there. Because of the jump, even though it's a frame that he jumps to just cancel the downward momentum. It pulls him past the finger, gets it. And now, how do you feel about the Ken Masters? Because I see some hands.
I said I needed more heat, and he's going to spend it. And to win it, going to Ken Masters here, it's going to be interesting because he will play. I feel like he's going to play a bit more aggressive just because, you know, Ken does have a few faster outs, and like being able to rely more on Shoryu more true, I think he can get it done.
Yeah, I like, as you mentioned in the Shoryu here, right, to catch the anti-air Lucina character is going to be jumping at you quite a bit. But the real test for this matchup, and what I think it lies almost entirely on, is how on point are these parries from Gaius, right? Yeah. When you see a player like Jazo play this matchup, it feels like Lucina literally cannot touch you.
Him. Right.
But when most people play this matchup, unfortunately, their forearms do not block a steel sword, and we see it situations like that.
Yeah, and he's going to lose out a bit more durability as well, I believe. I mean, not having access, you know, to the heavy fireball as well is not going to. It's something that, like, a tool that he was able to use in game number 1 that he's not really going to have here. But how he goes about approaching this cannot be near as cautious on the approach. You know, going for the low forward kicks, into it. Not quite enough to take it out that stock, but more like that is what you want to look for.
Okay, I love that Dolphin slash Ash getting called out by the focus. Gaius now with the parry starting to come online. The weak down tilt, though, pressure on shield, but not much more. And he tries to get the raw call out with the Shoryu. So if you go to platform, you gotta go to ledge, you gotta stay in the corner. But now the shield's a skittle. And my friend, when you're there, you just can't play that defense. You can't even really look for the parry without risk of, if I don't hit this, I get blown up. Gets pushed in the corner for his trouble. And while he still finds the stock, it's still rough, right? Exactly, he hit like 50.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage for that. See if we can, you know, clean it up, get it more consistent here, because Mr. E definitely feels more comfortable in this position to just play his style of game. They're both slowing down the pace considerably, waiting for someone to make a little bit of a hiccup, a little bit of a mistake, but the mistakes have been coming out a lot more from the camp of Gaius.
And beautiful snap there, Gaius. Right before, right, that counter we've seen time and time again. If you throw it out against a character like this, they kind of just have nowhere to go but the blast zone. At the moment, though, Gaius able to hold in and dig in deep to find this one. This is also a really interesting storyline because if C-Live had beaten Gaius, he's actually beaten Mr. E in the past.
Right.
So you know that Mr. E, even though Gaius is a very strong player, obviously, here, and putting up quite a fight, he's been very comfortable playing against the Shotos.
For sure. And I mean, you play through a lot of them as well in collegiate, multiple players, multiple teams, you know, piloting the Ken and Ryu, Nakazuya even as well. And Mr. E, so comfortable, made that second game look a lot easier than the first game.
You know, I'm really interested to see where Gaius goes next because while I feel like he had a plan in theory, we didn't really see it in practice, right? Ken was never really able to get in consistently. It felt like he never really had the advantage that he wanted. Gaius was finding some down tilts, finding some on-paper combo starters, but just wasn't able to extend them quite in the way he wanted. And even though he had the movement capability, he was utilizing it more for Ken's rushdown capabilities than he was to use it to space on reaction. And I feel like even though Ken, we think of as this high rushdown, high-octane, aggressive character that is going to just speed through all his opponents, you know, you really have to use the movement defensively to take full advantage. And I think that's why we're seeing Ryu, where I think Gaius just feels a lot more comfortable playing that defensive game plan.
For sure. Switching back over to Ryu fits more of the goals that Gaius wants to accomplish, and we're more than likely going to see it here. This is, you know, he doesn't want to go down 0-3, dropping down into lower bracket, into loser's bracket. You know, you can make that loser's run, have fun with that. Would like to be able to stay up on top on this top side of the bracket. It's just, but yeah, feeling more comfortable with the projectiles, with the Hadokens, being able to use those a lot more often. Suits his game plan significantly more than trying to go for confirms into Shoryukens.
Yeah, I love that landing like 1-2 up airs right at the edge of platform from Mr. E, controlling so much space. The way, right, you see these full slingshots on the movement, the pivot walk, dancing back and now holding underneath, right? Gaius has to focus there because anything else just gets trapped and called out by Mr. E because of the platform height. The Shoryu attempt is on point, but not the strength one he wants, and he has to settle for the Tatsu. But again, Tatsu settles you at a very deceptive angle, right? It's right to the corner. And if you DI right, if you air dodge, you can live a long time sending to the corner.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, he's a big boy living a long time right now as well. And Mr. E will survive long enough to get that first stock before falling and expect to be answered quickly. Very smart on that. Can Gaius, though, turn the momentum on his side? Can he pull it back? You know, get this game in. It's deceptive. It's like Mr. E feels like he's in control, but little slip-ups like that can definitely turn the tide of things. I love the quick little pokes through the platform. Super smart.
And for Gaius to find the spacing on that, to recognize that it was safe on parry was fantastic, but so too was Mr. E recognizing the higher your percent, the longer you're in the air, the less invulnerability you got hanging onto that ledge, lining up the down air spike perfectly. Gaius going to eat an early stock, and he was starting to come back other than that at Crow, but now it feels like he's running out of room to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the stranglehold that we saw Mr. E, you know, put on the Short King way on earlier in the day, it's seemingly to come to fruition here as well now up against Gaius. And it's very, very scary now. 74% goes for
Again?
one more down. The same trick working. Man.
But
Okay.
here's what matters, right?
Yes.
Here, win or lose, you get the advice. You got to talk through the situation and say, hey, what went wrong for me? Because Mr. E will give it. This guy has a meta fight. He is a coach, and he's a very good one at that. Again, been around a long time, seen it all. That if you want to pick someone's brain who's just beat you, you'll learn a lot. Trust me, I know. I lost him at SmashCon last year.
He's absolutely a monster on the sticks. Like, it's so insane.
He sent me down to losers.
Like, did you win though?
I think I went. I think I went 2-2 in that bracket.
Oh yeah, rock and roll.
It was 1-2 or 2-2. I don't remember. The
Last
only thing
time-
I remember about my Supernova bracket, SmashCon bracket last year, Supernova this year, is that we won last hit. My doubles partner was a Little Mac player. We won last hit with Armadillo and Grape in doubles. I'm so sad, man. We could have done something magical.
The last time I went 2-2 was in 2016.
Because you do better?
No,
Damn, you washed.
I am very much. I am the.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Manager of the car wash. That's how washed I am.
Hey, at least that means you make money, right?
Alabama.
That's better than 2 tours. Yeah, but hey, that's still more than 2 tours.
You know, that's.
We
valid.
love our 2 tours, but
That's valid.
they don't have a hat like this.
Okay, Kesha. Yeah. Shout out, Mom. All right. But I love that they're still talking about it. Like, I love that they're, still going over the matchup. Like, that's just really dope. The respect they have for each other as players and individuals definitely is on display. But, like, man, Gaius just, I mean, he really did get walled out. Like, just very much felt like it just was not able to keep up with the speed that Mr. E was playing at. And, like, while he is a very, very strong player in multiple games, by the way, it's just Mr. E is just so good. He wants to have that solidified spot as the best in New York. Like, he wants, and even more so, punching up beyond that. Like, the dude has aspirations that he can very well reach.
Can I also just say that isn't this so incredibly fitting for a fighting game tournament that has a Smash bracket?
Yeah.
That 4 of the sets we've had on stream out of 5 now have had some form of fighting game player featured in a fighting game character, right? Because coming up next, we've got the other side of winner semis in this pool. We've got